When your discernment replaces your emotions, let's talk about it. The one thing that we do often is we will take our emotions and we'll run with them. Sometimes your emotions are not always right, honestly. Sometimes your emotions can put you such in a high stressful situation to where when you don't know how to respond to a situation or a circumstance, you will respond more out of your emotions than out of your discernment. So a lot of the times, the reason why we respond out of our emotions because we've been trained to do that. When you've been trained your whole life to respond out of your emotions instead of your discernment, then it looks normal. It looks like this is actually normal, how we supposed to function, how we supposed to respond and react to everything. And so when you have grown up in society and the world have taught you that this is exactly how it's supposed to be, then we run with it and we take it. And as we become older, we start to see that, okay, me reacting out of my emotions is not getting me nowhere. It's actually messing me up more than helping me. So now at this big grown age we learn more and more that to react out of our emotions, to react when your nervous system is all out of balance and just all over the place, to react in a moment of a situation when it seems so chaotic, that's not the best thing for us. But the best thing for us is to understand that sometimes your discernment is the very thing that is your protection. So you got to see it like this. When your discernment replaces your emotions, your discernment becomes your protection. When your discernment replaces your emotions, your discernment becomes your protection. So when your discernment replaces your emotions, your discernment will literally become your protection. It will become your protection in a form or in a sense where if a situation is like really stressful or chaotic or high stressful, you won't necessarily respond out of your emotions, but you'll respond from a place of discernment, meaning your energy will be grounded, your spirit will be grounded, and the reaction or the response you give, it'll be very different from what your emotions will be used to giving out. So even if you're looking at it, and even if you're looking at a situation, see, you got to realize this, your emotions come from a place of reaction. Your discernment comes from a place of response. Your emotions is looking to react. Your discernment is looking to hear what's happening and respond to it. And I heard somebody say this once, in all situations, you get to choose whether you react or respond. So your emotions is built off your reactions. Your respond is built off of your discernment. And that's why your emotions, and a lot of the times with our emotions, our nervous system can get all over the place because we don't know how to react to certain situations that arrive out of nowhere. But then your discernment is your protection, because your discernment actually comes more from a logic place. Your discernment comes more from God giving you the wisdom or the download or the understanding on how to handle a situation in that moment. And that's why your discernment is more of your protection, because that comes more from your intuition. Your discernment is coming from your intuition. Your discernment is coming more from God. It's showing you the understanding of why somebody did what they did and how they did it and how you should respond to it. Your emotions come from a place of reacting out of your nervous system being unbalanced and chaotic. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of the times, as we learn more and more about our trauma, and our wounds and our circumstances of life, it's like you'll begin to understand why it's so vital, why it's so important for you to respond out of your discernment rather than your emotions. Do you know how many people respond out of their emotions and it puts them in such a bad situation, even worse? And then they get in that worse situation and they wish they would have responded out of their intuition, out of their discernment more. You know what I'm saying? But it's too late now, because now you have to deal with you responding out of your emotions and what comes behind it now. And that's the difference. It's like your discernment is your inner compass. Your discernment is the roadmap. Your intuition and your discernment is the right path that is taking you down. It's like your discernment is the clarity, the intuition, the wisdom, the downloads. It's like your discernment is the invisible force that actually gives you the tools and the answers of how to handle something and respond to it accordingly. Your emotions, even though emotions are not bad, because God gave us emotions because he wanted us to feel the things we feel. But I think, and I understand this, even when you look at David in the Bible, when it came to Saul, David had a lot of emotions, but David also knew how to use his discernment as his protection. David also knew how to use his intuition as an inner compass, as a guidance for God to show him which way to go and how to handle situations and circumstances and things when it came to things that came in his life. And so David had a lot of emotions, because there was a lot of things that occurred in his life that he probably couldn't understand or didn't even think he would have to go through, but he did. But in spite of all of those emotions that David probably felt in each circumstance, he was able to allow his discernment to override his emotions, because David knew his discernment comes from God. But sometimes his emotions can come from his human being standpoint, which is not always the right way to go. So David knew within himself that he had to ground his emotions. He had to ground his energy. He had to ground his spirit. And he had to ground his emotions to get some stability about himself so that he can make a precise decision based on his discernment. Even when you look at it, how I think Saul was chasing David and he was after him to kill him. David had the perfect opportunity to kill that person, because imagine David emotions so heightened and everything like that. But David also knew that vengeance is not mine, but it's God's. David had a lot of discernment enough to know that I can't move out of my emotions in this situation. Even though the opportunity is presented to me that I can kill this person right now and get away with it. But this is not the way I'm supposed to go. But David knew that his discernment was greater. So he literally only cut off a piece of the man's robe, and he left it up to God to vindicate him to do the rest. And that is what I'm talking about when I say discernment. Your discernment is your protection, because our emotions can get us caught up in so many dynamics and situations. Me personally, and trust me, I'm a Cancer, so the emotions run high. But in me being who I am, and as I'm getting older and older and understanding more and more, I understand why my energy have to be grounded. Like my spirit got to be grounded, because that's what's going to give me the stability to ground my emotions. So if my energy is grounded, my spirit is grounded, then my emotions become stable. And now in my emotions becoming so stable, then my discernment and my intuition overrides all and everything else that I was feeling. And now I can make a precise decision on how to respond to this situation more in a way where it's going to benefit me or benefit the other person or benefit both of us, rather than responding from a place of my nervous system that's all over the place and chaotic. So that's why some people don't think it's important, but I do. I think it's very important that you ground your energy, you ground your spirit, because in you grounding your energy and grounding your spirit, that's really what's going to give you the stability to ground your emotions. And then in you grounding your emotions, that's going to give you the stability to be able to tap into your discernment and your intuition to identify what you need to identify in this moment. So that's why grounding your spirit, grounding your energy is so vital, because in you grounding your energy and you grounding your spirit, you literally will make your emotions stable. And in your emotions being so stable, you will literally be able to tap into your intuition and your discernment like that. And you will be able to know how to handle a situation according to your intuition and your discernment, and not your emotions. And that's why your discernment is your protection.